Hello, and welcome to Sunday School. Sometimes we're the little guy. When I say that, I mean this. Sometimes life hits us with a Goliath of a problem that seems insurmountable. But here's the thing. If you're familiar with the term Goliath of a problem, or just the term Goliath in general, you probably know how today's story is going to end. We're finally getting to David, one of the most influential people to have ever lived. His name is mentioned in the Bible over 900 times, and he is prominent in 3 major world religions. So, how did this great king, ruler of Israel, and ancestor of Jesus, start out? Well, as it turns out, as a simple shepherd.
Let's start off David's story with an anecdote, a short, amusing, or interesting story about a real thing or person, also known as a story with a point. When David was a shepherd, a lion tried to steal one of his sheep. So, what did David do? He picked up his sling, a weapon that throws rocks, and struck the lion with a stone. David was a dedicated shepherd. It was that dedication and fearlessness that would become essential in the main story today. You see, David had been chosen by God to be the next king of Israel. The current king, Saul, was upset because he had done many wicked things and had lost the right to be the ruler of Israel. David, however, could play the harp to soothe Saul. Their relationship from then on out was questionable, but suffice it to say that they got along on and off for the rest of Saul's life. At the point our story takes place, Israel was at war with a tribe of people called the Philistines. The army of Israel had gathered across from their Philistine enemies. They prepared to send out champions, each side ready to fight for their tribe, their country. But then, the Philistines sent out Goliath. Goliath was a huge man, a giant, and the Israelites were afraid to fight him. 40 days passed and nobody came out. But one day, David came to the camp and visited King Saul. At first, Saul forbade him from fighting Goliath. Eventually, David convinced him. So Saul insisted that he take his kingly armor. David declined, saying that God would protect him. David collected his sling and some stones, knowing that God would help him defeat Goliath. He took the sling to battle and threw a stone with it directly at Goliath. It sailed through the air and with the power of God, struck Goliath in the forehead, killing him on the spot. And with that, David had won the war.
So, David defeated Goliath. With whose help? God's. Not a surprising turn of events at this point. But here's the important thing. David was a kid. A young shepherd eventually destined to be king, but not from any royal family. Just a kid. Probably a lot like you, although YouTube's information on who watches our videos suggests you're probably not a shepherd. Even so, this story reminds us that God can use anybody at all, to accomplish his plan. This story comes from 1 Samuel 16 and 17. Here are some questions to talk about. Why did God pick David to be king? Why did God pick David to defeat Goliath? What do you think Saul thought about how easily David defeated Goliath? Next week, we'll talk a bit more about David. Stop it now.
No, I think I'll let you suffer a little bit longer.
Huh? What?
I said I think I'll let you suffer a little bit longer.
Suffer a bit longer? I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave.